This might just be the most mind-bending film in Spanish cinema history. In my opinion, its complexity far surpasses well-known Spanish thrillers like Mirage, The Invisible Guest, and The Hidden Face. The story unfolds between 3 p.m. and 10 p.m. on September 16, 2006. Our protagonist is a middle-aged man named Héctor. It's a weekend afternoon. At 3 p.m., Héctor drives back to his newly purchased mountain villa after grocery shopping. His wife Clara is watering plants in the yard. They've barely exchanged a few words when the landline rings. Héctor picks up, but the caller stays silent before hanging up. Assuming a wrong number, he shrugs it off. After all, they've just moved in and haven't shared their number yet. Héctor relaxes on a lounge chair in the yard, scanning the surroundings with binoculars. Suddenly, he spots a young girl in red jeans and a white t-shirt inexplicably undressing in the distant woods. He's captivated by the scene, until Clara interrupts his voyeurism. She needs to return to the store. The table Héctor bought won't fit through the first-floor doorway. Eager to resume his spying, Héctor quickly agrees. Once Clara drives off, he lifts the binoculars again. But now only discarded red jeans remain in the woods. The girl has vanished. Overcome by curiosity and lingering thoughts, Héctor grabs his binoculars and heads into the forest. Near a large rock, he finds the same girl lying motionless and naked, seemingly lifeless. As Héctor cautiously approaches, a mysterious figure stabs his arm with scissors. Terrified, Héctor flees blindly. When he finally pauses to catch his breath, he uses his binoculars to scan behind him. There stands the attacker, a man cloaked in a black coat with pink bandages wrapped entirely around his face. The grotesque figure spots Héctor watching, makes a mocking face, then charges toward him. Héctor bolts again, only to hit a chain-link fence blocking his path. Realizing he's lost his bearings in the fading daylight, he scales the fence in desperation. Ahead, he spots an oddly shaped building resembling a factory or laboratory. Héctor bangs on the door, but gets no response. After smashing a window, he forces his way inside. The space is filled with scientific equipment, clearly a research lab, deserted on a weekend. Finding no phone to call police, Héctor patches his wounded arm with supplies from a first aid kit. Calmer now, he spots a walkie-talkie. As he tests it, a man's voice crackles through. It's Héctor, the weekend lab attendant who introduces himself. Héctor frantically explains he's being chased by a bandaged killer and begs for help. Héctor agrees to call the police and warns, "I saw the bandaged man on surveillance cameras heading this way. Stay with me until police arrive. It's safer." Relieved, Héctor accepts. Guided by Héctor's voice over the walkie-talkie, Héctor sneaks out and sprints to a hillside cabin near the lab. Inside, he meets Héctor standing beside a conspicuous, liquid-filled white tank. To hide from the pursuer, Héctor suggests they both get into the tank and seal the lid until police arrive. Skeptical but terrified, especially with the bandaged man closing in at 10 p.m., Héctor reluctantly climbs into the tank. Instead of joining him, however, Héctor immediately slams the lid shut. Trapped inside, Héctor grows confused until the lid suddenly opens again. Stunned, he finds daylight streaming in. How could it be daytime? It was 10 p.m. moments ago. Before he can question Héctor, he realizes the man now claims to have never met him. Héctor deduces, "This tank is an experimental time machine. You've been sent back over 6 hours, to 3 p.m. on September 16th. Disbelieving, Héctor grabs his binoculars and scans for his villa. Horrified, he spots Clara watering plants in the yard, while another Héctor talks beside her. Truth hits. He's traveled back in time. To clarify the timeline, we'll now call the time traveler Héctor and the original with Clara Héctor 1. After seeing two identical Héctors, Héctor is baffled at first, but quickly pieces it together. He guides Héctor back to the lab and reassures him, "Don't panic. What's done can't be undone. Just stay hidden here until 10 p.m., and everything will reset." Seeing Héctor's confusion, he explains, "After dark, Héctor 1, the one with Clara now, will be chased by the bandaged man into the lab. He'll enter the time machine and vanish. By 10 p.m., there'll only be one Héctor left in this timeline. Then you can return home like nothing happened. There's a catch. Héctor demands Héctor never reveal the time machine's existence, not even to Clara. Why? Because he's been illegally testing the prototype during his shift, and exposure would cost him his job. Héctor barely contains his anger. 2 clones exist, and he's worried about getting fired, but swallows his rage for the sake of normalcy. Left alone in the lab, Héctor drifts between delirium and disbelief. Around 30 minutes later, he spots a telephone and instinctively dials his home number. Héctor N answers. The call jolts him awake, so the silent call this morning was me. To preserve the timeline, he hides the lab phone, ensuring Héctor N can't call for help later. Still restless, he finds car keys and steals a white lab vehicle, planning to shadow Héctor N's movements. En route, he passes a girl on a bicycle, the same girl he saw undressing earlier. Héctor slams the brakes to follow her, but a red van suddenly smashes into his car. The van flees as Héctor's car crashes into a tree. Though dazed and bleeding from his forehead, Héctor acts with chilling logic. He unwraps the bandage from his arm and methodically binds his entire face, leaving only his eyes exposed. Blood soaks the bandage, turning it pink. Staring into the rearview mirror, he freezes. This is the bandaged man's appearance. The girl, revealing she's a hairdresser, doubles back to help. She uses her scissors to trim his excess bandages. As she prepares to leave, Héctor notices her scissors match the weapon that stabbed him earlier. A horrifying epiphany hits. He must become the bandaged man. Stealing her scissors, he grabs a black coat from a trash bin and coerces the girl into the woods opposite his villa. There, he forces her at scissor point to undress, recreating the scene Héctor N witnessed earlier. But the girl fights back, kicking him down and fleeing. In the chase, both tumble down a slope. She falls unconscious. Héctor drags her to a rock and strips her naked, exactly as he remembered seeing her. Hiding nearby, he waits. Soon, Héctor N enters the woods. Héctor stabs his arm with the scissors and chases him toward the lab, even mimicking the bandaged man's mocking gesture when Héctor N looks back. Suddenly, the girl screams, awake and fleeing. Fearing she'll ruin his plan, Héctor pursues her toward his villa under nightfall. Inside, he's struck by a thrown table and tumbles down the stairs. Scrambling up, he pleads through the door, "I'm not a monster, just someone trying to go home." Bursting into the locked bedroom, he finds it empty. On the balcony, he spots feet dangling from the roof. Grabbing the ankles, he yanks hard, and the figure plummets to her death. Panic sets in as he peers down. The corpse has short hair and a red coat, not the girl's long hair and white top. It's Clara. His wife's car sits parked in the yard. He just killed Clara. Though Héctor harbored voyeuristic impulses, his love for Clara was absolute. Devastated by her death, he rushes to the lab. Now past 10 p.m. Héctor has already sent Héctor N through the time machine. Frantic, Héctor, now the primary time traveler, explains everything and demands to go back again. Héctor resists. Another trip means 3 Héctors coexisting. You, the one who just left. In the original Still at the Villa, call him Héctor 2. Chaos is guaranteed. But Héctor is desperate. Héctor N will relive my path. He'll accidentally kill Clara too. Send me back. I'll kill Héctor N before that happens. When Héctor 2 eventually flees here, only one Héctor remains, and Clara lives. Héctor admires the plan's ruthlessness but refuses without payment. Héctor bashes him with an iron pipe. Under duress, Héctor claims the time machine lacks power, its battery removed. Another beating forces a confession. A previous Héctor arrived before you. He tried twice to save Clara and failed. He warned, time travel changes nothing. Unmoved, Héctor forces El Joven to reinstall the battery. Before entering the tank, he removes his bandages and coat. Emerging in the past, he steals El Joven's red van and tails Héctor 1, now driving the lab's white car. When Héctor 1 stops to approach the girl, Héctor rams his car, sending it crashing into a tree. The collision flips Héctor's van. He blacks out. Waking injured, he sees his worst fear. Héctor 1, now bandaged, is becoming the monster chasing Héctor 2. Héctor radios El Joven. You were right. Nothing changes. Abandoning the walkie-talkie, he limps into the woods, where the girl, fleeing from Héctor 1, spots him and screams. Seizing the chaos, Héctor lies. The bandaged man is chasing me too. Trusting him, the girl helps him stagger to his villa at nightfall. Inside, she leaves him to call police upstairs, just as Clara returns. Héctor reunites with Clara but notices it's nearly 10 p.m. Héctor 2 must be fleeing the lab now. Knowing the bandaged Héctor 1 will pursue the girl here, he locks Clara in a hidden pantry. When the bandaged Héctor 1 storms in searching for the girl, Héctor smashes a table into his face, sending him tumbling downstairs. Seizing the moment, he manipulates the girl. Change clothes. Cut your hair. Disguise yourself. She complies, donning Clara's red coat and cropping her hair. As she climbs onto the roof via the balcony, the bandaged Héctor 1 reappears, grabs her ankles, and she falls to her death. Mistaking her for Clara in the dark, Héctor 1 flees to the lab to reset time. Meanwhile, Héctor releases Clara from hiding. Calmly sitting in a lounge chair, he knows the loop closes. Héctor 1 and 2 will vanish. The girl's death covers Clara's murder, and he's the last Héctor standing. To the police, he'll say, "A bandaged man chased a girl here. I tried to help, but was beaten. She fell while fleeing him." Today's story is from Spain's 2007 Mindbender Timecrimes. It predates Triangle, Coherence, and Predestination, a pioneer of time loop thrillers. Finally, let's clarify the timeline structure. The film presents 3 core timelines from Héctor's perspective. In the first timeline, Héctor, as the initial victim, is chased by the bandaged man, escapes into the time machine, and travels to the second timeline. In the second timeline, a mysterious driver, later revealed as another Héctor, crashes into him, causing head injuries that force Héctor to bandage his face. He mistakenly believes he killed his wife Clara and initiates a second time jump to the third timeline. In the third timeline, Héctor becomes the driver who injures his bandaged past self. He ultimately sacrifices the unnamed girl to save Clara, ending his personal time loop ordeal. Crucially, though Héctor is the first traveler shown on screen, he isn't the absolute first. A previous Héctor, and endless others before him, attempted the same. After Héctor 2, versions 3, 4, and beyond will repeat the cycle, but for this Héctor, the torment ends. Got questions? Debate the paradoxes in the comments. Until next time, may your timelines flow smooth and your paradoxes be few. Goodbye.